So with this video, I sort of want to dedicate it to a tender engine because I think in the entire time we're doing this channel, I have covered one. I've covered exactly one tender engine, and it was a Triumph Princess. So I'd like to update that a bit. My two personal favourite tender engines are this. This is a Hornby Patriot, and I absolutely adore it because I got it for an absolute bargain. I think I paid like 80 quid for it brand new. I bought it as new old stock. This is an old 2000 release. And the other one is this, a Bachmann Standard 5. And the missus bought me this, and I adore it. I really do like this thing. I think it has really nice proportions. Overall, I think it's a really nice looking engine that performs really well. I like both those engines a lot, and they'll get their own videos at some point. But for a minute, the thing I'd like to talk about is a bit more budget-y. Something every single modeler has is this, a Hornby Flying Scotsman. This one in particular came from around the 2000s, I think, and it's from a train set. It isn't exactly original anymore. I have come along, I've done a lot myself. I've given it chrome paint at the cab. I've generally just improved it. This isn't the first one of these I've had. This is the second one I've owned. The first one I had as a kid, and I ruined it. There's no nice way to put it. I did ruin it. This Scotsman here cost me 25 British pounds, and it is an absolute steal. Yes, it isn't original anymore, but when I bought it, it was very close to being original. The only thing the last owner did was add this cowl here, and that's it. Mechanically, I'm not the biggest fan of this loco because it's tender drive. I don't think I've actually talked about tender drive on the channel yet. So I'll open up the tender, we'll have a little nose of what's going on, and yeah. Here is the inside of the tender, and there's a lot going on in this guy. I'm going to pull this all the way apart just so we can admire it and I can explain it a bit better about what's going on here. I've never liked taking apart tender drive engines. I've always sucked at it. If I kill this taking it apart, I'm going to be very angry. I might have just killed it. I accidentally stabbed the commutator with the screwdriver. I'm going to just pray for a minute. Here in the center, you got the commutator. This is really similar to a Triumph motor, but different at the same time. Here's a Triumph motor. This is a very poor example. There's supposed to be a magnet here and brushes, but it'll do for the purposes of this. This plate here is the commutator, and this bit of copper here is the commutator on the Triumph motor. Two brushes will go either side of this, make electrical contact with separate parts of metal, which will then make a magnetic field start in the windings itself, which will then interact with the magnet on the back and result in the motor spinning. I feel like I've explained that right. I'm not certain if I have, but I think I've got the fundamentals right. And all this guy is doing is the same thing again, but instead of having the motors come either side, it's touching the face of it, which has been divided up into different quadrants, and then this will make the motor go around. I'm not certain if 5 quadrants on here means it's 5 pole. I kind of doubt it, but I could 100% be wrong. I don't really know what I'm talking about when it comes to motors. All I know is that 3 pole is bad, and 5 poles good. I know you can get CD conversion kits, so instead of using this guy, use a motor from a CD player. That'd be a really fun video to do at a later date, but for now I'm just gonna leave it as it is. Inside the Scotsman itself there's nothing going on, it's just pickups, so I'm not gonna bother taking this apart because last time I did that on a Scotsman, I ruined it and it never ran again. On the other side, we got this whole gear mechanism. Here in the center you have the shaft of the motor, which goes to these 2 big gears, which go down to these 2 smaller gears, which then go to the wheels, which are insulated on one side actually, using traction tires. This gives the model more grip and generally just sort of improves it a lot. You can run without the traction tires, but it is miserable. The model won't be able to pull anything, and the tender will sink down to one side of the track because there's massive grooves missing in it. Here we have the brushes. These are made out of carbon, I believe, and then that's the magnet that goes behind and just pushes it onto the commutator making contact. So I'm really sorry for the state of my hands. I lost a fight with a bush today and it is very hot. I am very sweaty right now. Pro tip, if you're ever having problems with tender drive models that shorten themselves out when they're connected but are fine when they're by themselves, check the tender because odds are the pickups on the uninsulated side are touching the chassis block and then shorten the whole thing out. Don't ask me how I know. Just to put into perspective on how much loco this actually is, I'm going to bring in a quick comparison of something I paid relatively similar for in price. Yeah, some of you remember this guy. This here is a Bachmann pannier, and it is a lot, and I mean a lot smaller. Out of these two, which one do I think is more valuable model? This guy easily. But the point I'm trying to make is just the size. For 25 quid, this is a big loco. Granted, yes, if you put something American next to it, it'll look tiny despite the fact that's HO. But it is still a massive loco. And for 25 quid, I'm very happy with it. Now, I said before about this not exactly being original anymore. All this red lining all along the running board, and even on the pony truck, I've added. I was really annoyed that this didn't have any of the red lining, and I thought it looks a bit crap, effectively. I don't know what you mean, but it looked crap without the lining. So I went and put all the lining back in. I also added black on top of the splashes. I'd like to change this gold here to white at some point, but I can wait. I picked out some pipe work. These little bits here, I think they're lubricators, I'm not certain. I just like model trains, I couldn't tell you anything about the real life example, what mechanically how it works. Got builder's plate there, more piping at the front, more lubricators I think. I've picked out the ends of the buffer beam in black because they're black on the real logo, and I don't get why Hornby keeps painting them red, even to this day on the railroad models. I've picked this piece out in red on both sides because it looks better. Around in the cab, I've done a lazy job. I'll be honest, I've done a lazy job. I've only picked out some of the stuff in there. But I fit the crew, which sort of hide the bits I haven't done. I've painted the ends of the cylinders silver as well. And that's really it for the logo. But this took about an hour to do, and I'm really pleased with it. I think it really has elevated this model. Yes, it's not perfect. There should be white lining on the wheels. I think the valve gear is a little too chunky, but considering this was a 25 quid logo, I spent an hour detailing. I think it really has elevated it. I wouldn't say it's a premium model now because of what I've done. I still think it's a budget beginner model, but it's now able to compete a little bit more with the intermediate market. So I'm quite happy with this. And then again, this is going to be seen from about 5 feet away at all times, so it doesn't really need to be perfect. I think I had about 3 or 4 goes at the cylinders, and even then, I don't think the lining's very good on them. Starts thick here, you can barely see it at the end. All of this was done with a very fine paintbrush, Tamiya red, which I've said on the channel before I hate because of how thin it is, and with a steady hand. Granted, yes, I don't like saying it, but I have a fair bit of experience in the hobby. It's just sort of how it is. The more you do it, the better you'll get at it. I don't think this is particularly good, but it's a lot better than stuff I was doing 5 years ago. So I'm happy with it. There is changes I would do in the future. I probably would mask some of the straight bits off and then only freehand the curves, but that's for future me to do. I'd like to get this guy lightly webbed at some point. I sort of like to imagine this Scotsman as like being a 60s-ish time, or just shortly after it got preserved. However, I believe it was in A3 condition at the time, and this is A1. Oh well, I just want an excuse to have a Scotsman, and I have a Scotsman, so I don't care. I like the Scotsman, it's cool. On tender, I haven't really done anything because the tender's already pretty good. It comes with separately fitted handrails all around. I might drill that bit of glass out there and then replace it with a bit of clear plastic, just so there's something actually there. That is the walkway that the crews would use to get to the logo itself, because this is a cardinal connector. It's just a really nice touch. I really like that they actually molded 2 versions of the tender, with a corridor connector and without, so depending on which logo you had, you can have a corridor tender or not. Scotsman on it, so this model has it. It's got these D-type tension lock couplings. They're fine. I don't mind them. I know people have their gripes with them, but I don't mind them. I know they're pretty outdated, but this model's like 20 years old. You can still buy this Scotsman here, but for silly, silly prices. Personally, I wouldn't pay what Hornby wants for them. I think at the moment they're well over £100, and they're actually worse than this now. All this fancy stuff on the LNER is all being stripped away and replaced with a much more basic version. I don't really like that because it sort of just takes away from the character of the engine. It looks a lot more toy grade than an engine. And even then, people griped with this because of how basic it was. Ignore the bits I've done. Picture this as like stock. Ignoring the bits I've done, people still complain that this was quite a basic model. And it still is now. I feel like this is a great model for beginners to get into because they can take advantage of it and start learning how to actually improve engines themselves. It's a very strange sort of model with a tender drive. It's pretty outdated, but I guarantee you will be getting models with tender drive, so it's good to learn how to deal with it. And because of these are so common, it doesn't really matter if you damage it. I mean, they must have made millions, and I do mean millions of these Scotsmans. I believe they first went into production in the 80s, and they're still made today. Granted, yeah, nowadays they're loco drive with DCC sockets, but it's still the same body. I wouldn't mind trying to get just a chassis and convert in this guy, but I also don't really want to mess with it anymore because I'm happy with the state it's in now. People complain about the accuracy, mainly with this rear truck. LNER engines never did this. They were fixed in place. So maybe it'd be nice to change these out for flangeless wheels and then sort of doing a weird conversion thing to get that to stay still, but that's a later thing to do. I'd like to keep doing work to this Scotsman because I really want to try and make it as good as I can make it, but for the current state it's in, I'm happy enough. Instead of me just going on about this Scotsman, which I really do love, how about we go see it run?
Oh look, it's this trash video that you're watching. Oh, I'm editing it. Today's upload day. I haven't finished editing. I'm very far behind this week actually. But oh, it's fun. Oh, we're about to go see trains run. No. That little joke bit earlier where I accidentally stabbed the commentator, yeah, I genuinely killed it. Like it's dead. Because I stabbed it. I've got spare parts and it's running, but it's not happy. Like I've genuinely killed that Scotsman. It is dead, Jim. It's dead. So no running segment. Soz. I'll fix it. It's just it's dead for a minute. Yeah, it's all my fault. My Scotsman, no.
The Hornby Flying Scotsman. What do I think of it? I love it. I don't think it's a particularly good model to get into if you're in the super high range of things, but if you're just beginning and you just want to learn how to mess about with models slightly, tweak them, improve them, service them, I think these are really good. They're a really great model to get into because they have loads of great aspects of them. They got separately fitted bearings here, they got relatively simple valve gear you can work on here. Granted, yes, most of it is riveted and you do need a special bolt for here, but the parts are so cheap, it's just easier to swap all this out. The tender drive is really good for someone in the hobby because it's just a nice common thing you will run into, and it's a great place to learn how to service them because of how common these are. Something I said a couple of weeks ago is that I really like rolling stock that blends into a train. I think this Flying Scotsman blends in perfectly to any layout set on the LNER because it's so iconic. It's just an iconic engine, and with a little bit of work it can sort of blend into any environment using the 5-foot rule. It's not an official rule, it's just a rule I've come up with. If it looks good from 5 feet away, then it probably looks good enough to be on a layout. No one's probably going to be seeing it up super close, so why worry about it? If you're a beginner, get one. I really can't say this enough. Just get one now. You don't have to get a Scotsman. They did a few engines with this body. They changed the tender around a lot. You can get Scotsmans with the original style tender. I really want the 1923 condition Scotsman. I'm just yet to find one for a reasonable price. The point I'm trying to make is you get all sorts of different A1s with different names and different numbers with different types of tenders. You're not stuck with a Scotsman. You can get a Pretty Polly, you can get a Papyrus, or a Gay Crusader. Or then again, you could just renumber it and rename it yourself. That's all I got for you this week. I really do hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you next week. Bye bye for now.